Okay, we back. We back and we black. And this time I've added the links in the description box below. Welcome back, everybody. Splash Wave Beat Splash in the check-in. What we got here is another TikTok video by this woman called With Love Bets. And I came across her video, very interesting. This person indeed is from the UK. She has a British accent, but she was spitting some some real good game. And, I posed a question, do men judge women based on their ex-boyfriends they dated? I mean, that's a real easy question to answer, but I want to let her tell it. I'm going to play it once, and then we're going to go back again. The video is only like 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and we're going to go back again, and then I'm going to dissect the video and break it down. Okay? So here we go. With Love Bets from TikTok. Very attractive, smooth skin, right? I've always said that a lot of guys, there's a lot of cute women in the UK, but anyways, but she's spitting some real facts here, and let's get into the video.
A man will judge you by the men you have dated before him. So as women, we need to be very careful about who we entertain. Dating a fuckboy is all well and good, but trust and believe, if you meet a respectable man and he finds out that you linked, dated, entertained a fuckboy, he is going to silently judge you. There are a lot of men who will meet you, think you're beautiful, think you're smart, think you have a lot going for yourself, and that they will find out that you entertained that guy, and it's an immediate turn off. Because the reality is, men know men. And men judge other men, just like as women, we judge other women. And the reality is, if you date a man that man thinks is a neek or a loser or a nerd or just a whore, insert various insults here, he is not going to respect you. He's going to think that is the level in which you play at, and he looks down at that level. So as women, we have to be very careful who we entertain, because at the time it's all fun and games, but these things do follow us in our dating history. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's out of your control, because a lot of times your man or the man you like might not like that man that you previously have entertained because of the way he talks about women, because of the way he brings up past experiences with women. He can be someone who's very disrespectful about the way he talks about his past hookups, his past links up, his past dates. And one thing men have is pride and ego. So no man wants to be walking around hand in hand with a girl and other men are talking about her, laughing at her. So ladies, I get fun is fun, but you still have to use brain when you're entertaining men, because don't let today's enjoyment mess up tomorrow's prospects. This also works the other way, even though men won't admit it. If you're dating a guy or have previously dated a guy that other men think is that guy, they're definitely going to be more intrigued or have an interest in you, because they want to know why he picked you, what it is about you that made him pick you. So ladies, I get it. It's city girls. It's fun times. It's party. Yeah, but remember, city girls don't retire. They expire. Now, like I always say, there's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you. Mwah.
I like what she said at the end. City girls, they don't retire, they expire. I like that. But there were some things that she said at the end that I disagree with. She said it works the other way around. No, it don't. No, it don't. Right? If not really, right? If you a guy that most men don't really have respect for, women will fuck with him anyway. They'll fuck with him anyway. All right. So that's the only part of the video that I agree with. But let's go through this video again and then break it down.
A man will judge you by the men you have dated before him. So as women, we need to be very careful about who we entertain. Dating a fuckboy is all well and good, but trust and believe, if you meet a respectable man and he finds out that you linked, dated, entertained a fuckboy, he is going to silently judge you.
She's absolutely right. I've been with several women, and the past dudes that they tell me about. Some of you guys have been through the same situation too, where you met a woman and you always ask about the ex, and it's one of the lamest dudes you've ever heard or seen before in your life, especially with some of these baby mamas. If you've entertained these baby mamas, I never met a baby mama who had like a thorough baby daddy, right? It's like she said, one of the biggest fuck boys you've ever heard of in your life. And in some cases, you've seen what these guys look like, and it's like, damn, you gave yourself to him, right? And there's certain guys that it's like, you know, you'll meet somebody who's attractive and they gave themselves to a duck, they gave themselves to a lame in the past, you know, the ex, and it's kind of like, all right, cool, you know, but like, you still want to have sex with her until the novelty wears off. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, a woman who entertained a fuck boy in the past, you look at her like, you know, you're not, I'm too good for you. You see what I'm saying? I'm too good for you. But even though if you've dated enough women and been with enough women in your life, you know that, all right, because the last dude was a fuck boy and you get with her and you're totally the opposite, and you're too good for her, that now she's probably going to treat you worse than what she did the fuck boy before you. You see what I'm saying? She's not going to give you the same respect that she probably once did before she kind of woke up and realized that, hey, you know, I shouldn't be dealing with this person. But a lot of women, they entertain fuck boys. They don't entertain fuck boys for a week, 2 weeks, a month, right? They entertain fuck boys for years. You know what I'm saying? They entertain these guys for like 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 years, right? Some of these guys, they're knocking the bottom out of that, and cool, right? But the difference between men and women is if a woman gets a man who ain't shit, and first of all, you let somebody enter into your womb, it's like you've already devalued yourself. But then you let somebody lame who ain't shit that entered your womb, now they're knocking the bottom out of that, you know, they're knocking the bottom out of that. And y'all know what I mean. These women tend not to let these guys go. You know what I'm saying? It takes years for them to detach, if ever, to detach from a fuck boy, a shithead who's knocking the bottom out of that. It takes them years to detach. Whereas like a guy, you might meet some chick who's like, who really ain't shit. But if you're a man, you know, okay, it at most, you give it about 6 months to a year before the novelty wears out. The novelty doesn't wear off for a woman like that. Especially you got somebody who's swapping DNA, injecting semen and DNA into this woman, and like it's swimming all in her bloodstream and then going to her organs, and your DNA is like, and now it's all in her brain. You know, it takes them much longer for them to detach from somebody like that, right? So yeah, we're judging. It's like, you know, not to say you intimidated by what he may or may not have done in the bedroom with this person, but you know, versus you. It's just that, man, look, like I'm too good for you. And if you've been around long enough, you know, okay, damn, even though you're too good for this person ain't really gonna give you the same honor as they gave to the last person, because that's just how women are. If you a good guy, I think it's a soccer player. His name is, I bullshit you not. His name is Kaká. Brazilian former soccer player Ricardo Izexon dos Santos Leite, right? Also known as Kaká or Ricardo Kaká. He was married to, damn, what's his wife's name? Just type in Kaká, K-A-K-A. Damn, what? Yeah, K-A-K-A. Footballer or soccer player, K-A-K-A soccer player. He married a woman named Caroline Celico, Caroline Celico, C-E-L-I-C-O. She went on the internet and said, like, why they split, right? And they was married for like 10 years. She said that the reason why she broke up with him was because he was too perfect. He had no flaws. He was too much of a nice guy. That's why I divorced him. Right? So that lasted but so long, and it probably lasted because, you know, rich, money, known soccer player, right? But who did she respect before she got with him? Right? What fuckboy was she entertaining before she got with him that she really had respect for, but kind of wising up and said, well, you know, I got this rich dude that's has interest in me. You see what I'm saying? We do judge. And we know, if you a man, we know our position will last but so long with this person before they start losing respect for us, before, you know, they start treating you badly, before they become narcissistic, before, you know, they start doing things out of spite just to shit on you, right? And it's kind of like, damn, like this is happening within the first 4 months of the relationship, but she gave 8 years to a guy before me, and this dude wasn't shit, right? Did he just take all her shit like that? Or, you know, was she respectful to her fuck boy before me? Yeah, we judge. We know, okay, damn, I'm too good for you. I shouldn't even be wasting my time with you, but you just might look good enough to where, you know, I can last about a year with you in the bedroom, right? Before the novelty wears off. And then it's like, I got to let you go.
There are a lot of men who will meet you, think you're beautiful, think you're smart, think you have a lot going for yourself, and that they will find out that you entertained that guy, and it's an immediate turn off.
Yep. I've had that happen many times. I'm like, damn, this chick, she got so much potential. But the way she's acting in this relationship, how careless, emotionless, thoughtless, selfish she is in this relationship. But then you find out in her past relationship, it's like, damn, she was taking care of somebody before you, right? For years, she was taking care of somebody before you. And it got to the point where it's just like, man, you know, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck when I don't have to, if somebody's not trying. You know, they have some of these women, it's like, damn, this person, you know, the image, you know, in person, it's like, you know, we look good together in public, but at home in private, it's just like, this person is one of the worst girlfriends I've ever had. Just no type of feminine, motherly, nurturing, good girlfriend skills at all. Right? No skills worthwhile at all. Right? But then you heard it's kind of like, damn, I'm going through this soon in a relationship, but she was pretty much babying, coddling, and taking care of some goofy before me. that is always in the back of a man's mind. So when you know that a woman, because she's spitting half of the game, because the other half is it's kind of like, okay, you entertain this, and you probably entertain this guy. He's probably the one that left you, right? You was entertaining a goofy, and the goofy probably left you. But it's like now we're in this relationship, and it seems like she don't have respect for me when I'm more of a respectable man than the person she was with from before. And sometimes you might be like, just like that footballer I gave an example of, you're just too good to be true. And it's like, okay, let me just sabotage my own relationship, because it's like if I give in, if I give my all to this person, or if I pour my heart, if I submit myself all the way to this person, then I'm in a vulnerable position, and he could really damage me if he decides that he doesn't like me, or if I'm not it, right? Or if he wants to go and be with somebody else, right? It's just women, they're in their heads a lot in a lot of these relationships, and they sabotage their own relationships, right? If you entertain somebody from the past that was a goofy, and you acting up with me, and your mind ain't right with me, you can't get your act together when you with me, then trust and believe you'll meet two different guys, three different guys. You'll meet somebody who's just kind of a pushover, and he'll just accept it throughout his days. You'll meet two other guys who aren't going to accept it, but one guy, you'll be lucky if you meet somebody man enough that'll say, hey baby, this ain't working. You have a lot of potential, but it's just that you're not really utilizing the potential that you have to the woman that I thought I saw you to be, right? You still kind of want to be a little girl, you know what I'm saying? Be immature. You still want to be this selfish, emotionless, right? And then on top of that, it's like, damn, you gave a lot of your years to somebody who was a goofy. And I don't know this person personally, but from the things you describe, I feel like I'm more of a man than this person. But you treated me like the goofy, and sound like you treated him like the man for the longest and treated me like the goofy. And I don't need this. Take care. I hope things work out for you. Or you'll meet somebody who's not tolerating that shit, and they don't think twice about stepping out on you. Like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm seeing this person ain't really to be respected. So that's the worst position you could be in, is you're with a man who don't respect you, and he's still coming home to you throughout the week, right? But then there's other days when he's entertaining other women, i.e., women at his job, women at the gym, women in passing, your sister, your cousin, your neighbor, right? Old girl at the mechanic shop who's a receptionist, right? Because some men, they know, okay, when I'm single, it's a lot harder to attract women. But if I'm in a relationship and there's pheromones just exuding from my pores, from my woman, all over me every single night, that's going to be able to attract more women easier. You see what I'm saying? So some people, they just use you. It's like, okay, this chick ain't no wife. I'm not gonna wife her. She don't respect me. I don't really respect her. I'll still have sex with her, right? I'm not gonna say nothing. It's just, I'll just, use her as bait to hook up with other women. That's what I'm gonna do, right? So those are the three type of men you're gonna meet.
Because the reality is, men know men. And men judge other men, just like as women, we judge other women. And the reality is, if you date a man that man thinks is a neek or a loser or a nerd or just a whore, insert various insults here, he is not going to respect you.
Yeah, see, the thing is like she said, men know other men. So if you could stomach being with a man like that for years, then that says a lot about you, right? And some women, one of the biggest mistakes about women is some women are just way too honest. Like we act like, most men, we act like we want honesty, when in reality, man, we don't really want honesty. We want to hear what we want to hear. It's kind of the men and women just want to hear what they want to hear, right? We want to hear that you have a low body count, that you're really not sexually experienced, right? That you know, you don't really know anything. You had your little boyfriend before, but you know, you want a man to lead and teach you. That's what we want to hear, right? You just had your little boyfriend in high school, little boyfriend in college. Okay, damn, in college, we're not really paying bills or anything, and somebody might not turn out the way you thought they would. Now you in the real world and you want a man. That's what we want to hear, right? But when you out in the real world, you paying bills and, you got your own spot or whatever, and you inviting the streets up in your spot, you inviting goofies up in your spot, right? You inviting felons up in your spot, right? You met the last dude in jail on a prison visit, right? Your friend has a baby daddy at the prison. You went with your friend, and then while you was there, somebody from the back walking past saw you, waved, and y'all got each other's contact information. Now you prison pals with somebody. It's just no. Oh, I was young. No, right? We've all entertained somebody that we shouldn't have, right? We've all slept with somebody that we shouldn't have, right? A good person, it's not the fact that you entertain somebody, right? It's a good person's only going to entertain them once or twice and then keep it moving, right? A good person just like, okay, that was fun one time. I shouldn't have entertained that person. It'll never happen again. I'll never even mention this again. But sometimes, man, women, they'll mention the ain't shit dude that they was with in the past. Hell, they was trying to build a life with the ain't shit dude. You see this a lot in Canada, right? Most women, they use fuck boys, drug addicts, ain't shit dudes as a means to just have babies so that they can file full custody in the court system. Somebody who's incoherent, incompetent, and can't stand trial, won't even show up to the court date, right? And they gain full custody. You hear a lot, and they always blame how they was young, they didn't know any better. Oh, he's just a sperm donor. No, they purposely use that person as a sperm donor because they didn't want a family. They just wanted a kid. That's it. So you hear a lot of these women, single mothers in Canada, everybody with children, they all have this backstory, especially if they're a single mother. I didn't know he was on drugs and this. It's just shut the fuck up. Yes, you did. You knew exactly he was on drugs, right? You purposely sought out somebody who was on drugs so that you could get full custody and you could get Section 8 housing. What do they call it? They call that metro housing in Canada, right? You can get welfare housing because them welfare houses, they're not that bad. And the violence is much lower in Canada. They be getting townhouses and stuff like that, paying $200 a month, decent townhouses. So it's like they, like some women are, they bullshit, but some women are just too honest. But we're not talking about single mothers. We're talking about women with no children that entertain fuck boys in the past. It's like some women, it's kind of like when you're in the presence of a man, you have to, sometimes it's just best to lie, right? If you regret entertaining somebody for that long, your best bet moving forward is, if you really regret that, you take that shit to the grave with you when you're in the presence of a man, a productive man. You just say, hey, look, I was with somebody. He was a great guy, very hard worker, very smart, but he just had a problem, an infidelity problem, and I just couldn't deal with that no more. I respect myself. If you really are ashamed of your past like that, you didn't come out with STDs, you don't have a kid, you're not hiding a kid. It's just you was messing around with somebody longer than you should have, that you shouldn't even have been dealing with, knowing how men judge each other. Man, you just gotta, sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes you just gotta lie in order to save your relationship. Sometimes you can't say, hey man, the fuck boy was just exciting. And it's like, you keep telling the truth, you'll never be with a man ever. Right? If that's what you really want.
He's going to think that that is the level in which you play at, and he looks down at that level. So as women, we have to be very careful who we entertain, because at the time it's all fun and games, but these things do follow us in our dating history. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's out of your control.
See, the thing is, it follows you, especially when nothing follows you if you move to a different city, a new state, right? It don't really follow you. It follows you when you're with somebody from your neighborhood that you grew up with. But if you moving to a new place, you don't have any kids, you still young, right? Some of that shit, if you really trying to leave it in the past, you got to let it go and be like, hey, look, I really want a man, but you can be honest, right? It's cool. Some women, they pride themselves on being half-ass honest, right? And it still makes you look bad, right? You still look like a piece of shit in our eyes. It's just like, you was with that. I remember one time I was dating this chick. I seen her ex dude, right? Brother's hair was like real nappy and wild and dirty, and he was ashy. I was like, you was with that? You was with that? She was like, yeah. Needless to say, I was just like, oh, okay. Was there some infidelity on my part dealing with her? Yes. Right. Because I knew I didn't want her no more, but I entertained her for about maybe 8 months, and I broke up with her, and I was just like, no. The novelty wore off. It's just already, I've already hit the number of, that number that everybody has a different number of when the novelty wears off, when the sex just wears off. And it's like, okay, I hit that number with you now. I'm done. It never lasts longer than a year with me, right? I don't let it last longer than a year. And if you did, here's the thing, if you did entertain a loser before me, you better be mom of the year, wife of the year with me, right? Because it's like, you already started on the negatives with me, right? It's just, I'm too lame. It's just, I'm too weak to be like, hey man, I don't even want to have sex with her. Nah, I didn't say all that. I want to see what's up, right? But the thing is you on the clock, and in that clock, it doesn't last longer than a year unless you show me something spectacular in your personality, right? You just girlfriend of the year, wife of the year, right? Like but you have up until now, until a year before it's just like, hey, I'm I'm good with you. Like I didn't really look at you in a certain light from the time I met you, right? And now you're still dealing with everything that comes with dealing with a modern uh feminist woman. It's just like hell no. No. And all you deal with lames, and then you think you're gonna play these games with me and as if I'm a lame too. Nah, bye-bye. Nah, nah. You see, you gonna treat me the way that you should have treated your ex? Nah, I'm good.
Because a lot of times your man or the man you like might not like that man that you previously have entertained because of the way he talks about women, because of the way he brings up past experiences with women. He can be someone who's very.
It ain't even gotta be somebody that you know. It's just you hearing it from the woman's point of view, and it's just like, hold on. Wait a minute. He did what? He didn't have a job. How long you were with him? 5 years. You was giving him money. Oh, no. Once you tell us that, it's now if I looked at you as like as a 6, right? If I looked at you as a 6, now you about a 2 in my eyes, right? I ain't really talking about looks, just your overall personality that demotes you by like 4 or 5 points in my eyes. So now you starting really, really low with me because I'm the total opposite. And we're gonna see how your conflict resolution skills are with me, seeing how before I used to deal with a loser for 5 years, and I ain't no loser, but yet, you know, you giving me attitude. I better not experience no attitude from. I don't want to hear no lip. I don't want to hear no attitude. It better be, hey, you know, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. Hey, man, that's disrespectful. Watch it. Everything better be yes. Yes, baby, that'll never happen again. Okay. If I get sucking of the teeth or who you talking to or anything, best believe I just might hurt your feelings, right? I will hurt your feelings because then how I really feel about you. And here's the thing, you know, my personality, when I detach cold, right? So I don't need to insult you, right? Definitely not getting physical, right? I don't even think about that when it comes to women, right? I don't need to put you down to light up my fire or to add fuel to my fire. I don't need to dim your light to try to engulf mine. No, it's just okay. All right, well, take care. Hold on. What you doing? Wait, really? Oh, really? So you just gonna go like that? You're not even talk. Excuse, I'm here. You're not talking, right? Gone like the wind, and I'm blocking you on everything. Blocking you. You can't call me. You can't text me. You can't see me on Instagram. You can't see me on Facebook. You can't email me. Nothing. Nothing. Right? You was with that trash from before, and you talking to me like this? Oh.
Disrespectful about the way he talks about his past hookups, his past links up, his past dates. And one thing men have is pride and ego.
And here's the thing, I'm not taking no disrespect regardless, but see, the thing is, right, I could kind of have a little bit more patience with somebody who has a track record of being with somebody thorough. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who was God-fearing, hardworking, right? Well-read, book smart, street smart, you name it, like educated, entrepreneur, I could respect somebody like that. And you just like, hey man, I just, whether it was infidelity or disrespect, it's just like, hey, you know, I know my worth, and you know, I just can't entertain somebody who talks to me like that, or you know, who cheats on me or treats me like that. You know, I don't. You know, my body is sacred, and you're entering inside of me after you done gone out and entered into other women, and then now you want to put that inside my womb and my body. Is like I have a lot of respect for myself to be. Then I could give you a pass for that. I could have a little bit more patience for a woman like that, right? Because it's like, okay, she got boundaries. She's a woman. She's respectable. These are her boundaries. I respect those boundaries, and I will not cross those boundaries at all. But if you with a bitch, a goofy, and you talking to me like that, right? You ain't cooking, you ain't cleaning, right? You rolling your eyes, you smacking your teeth, you not taking accountability. Bye, bitch. Bye.
So no man wants to be walking around hand in hand with a girl and other men are talking about her, laughing at her. So ladies, I get like fun is fun, but you still have to use brain when you're entertaining men, because don't let today's enjoyment mess up tomorrow's prospects. This also works the other way, even though
Okay, that's how I need to stop right there. She said it works the other way. No, it don't. Not really. No, it don't. No, it don't. Women would be like, oh, you slept with her? Yeah. Oh. and she bending over, she got it tossed up in the air for you that night. So no, I don't. No, no it don't. No, it don't. No, it don't. Now, somebody got, you know, AIDS or something like that, that's totally different. Right? If you knew somebody had AIDS and you didn't care, that's totally different. Yeah, it's like, no. But if it's just some little ratchet chick that you mess around with, them women don't care. They don't care. Right? But yeah, we judge you. That don't mean that we're not gonna, okay, you was with him. Does that mean we're not gonna hook up with you? We're not gonna sleep with you. We're not gonna try to lock you down? No, that's not what it means. What it means is like, you know, I'm really, it ain't even I got my eye on you. I got my eyes on you and you on the clock. Right. Right. So and hopefully if you honest like that, hopefully you entertain respectable men. Right. Because if you're too honest and you talked about how you entertain people who weren't to be respected, you know, like, I mean, that's a huge mistake women make. Like I say, you just too honest, right? Then look here, you gonna meet one of three men. One of three. You're gonna meet somebody who's just like, yeah, I'll pass, right? Or you're gonna meet somebody that is man enough. You know, he's still gonna see what's up with the bedroom activities. And you know, like I said, it doesn't go on that long. And it's just like, hey, you know what? This ain't working out for me. Or no, you're gonna meet a pushover. You're gonna meet somebody that's telling you this ain't working out for me, or you're gonna meet somebody who is just like, whatever. Yeah, we in a relationship, I guess, but I'm gonna just treat her like my little side piece, right? I ain't gonna I still hit it or whatever, but I'm still gonna entertain all these other women, right? It's just right. So That's something that she didn't say in the video. She never said that, okay, these men they don't want to have sex with you if you entertain. No, that's not what she said. It's just that they don't respect you. They don't respect you. And y'all have heard me say this many times on this platform. The worst side to be with a man as a woman in a relationship with a man is a man who don't want to marry you because he doesn't respect you like that. Right? That's the worst side, because either eventually he's going to drop you, or, you know, he's not going to think twice about entertaining other women if y'all still together. It's just like, all right, whatever, until I get caught, then, you know, that's when the relationship will end. But, you know, that could be dangerous. All right. So, man, look, always be on your P's and Q's, right? Compromise, see what it is that your man wants, be interested in what he wants, his wants and his needs. Hopefully, vice versa, he's interested in your wants and your needs. But look, downplay goofies that you entertained before in the past. Hopefully, y'all ain't got kids with each other, right? If you move on, you ain't got kids, and, you know, downplay that shit. Say, hey, look, good guy, just, and the word might get back to like, hey, man, she was this, that, and the third. It just might be the case, right? But, you know, especially if you with somebody who you met a woman in the city where she's from and y'all still live there, yeah, you know, you can easily find out about a person, right? So it's like they have no choice probably but to be honest, because once the streets tell you, run you down her resume, that might be even worse to find out that way. But I don't know, man. You see, this woman, you know, her giving this information, it is good information, but young girls aren't going to get this at an age that can save them. Young girls, by the time women hear this, and they might think, oh, okay, damn, she making sense, it's too late, right? It's too late. So anyways, I'm over and I'm out. Y'all guys take care. Peace.